Travis from Cinema Buffs here. This time I brought Nate along with me for this new episode of my holiday movie reviews as Nate and I sit down and talk about the classic Home Alone. Now, this has been one of my favorite movies to watch around Christmas times ever since I was a kid. And it's just this movie, like, it's a weird movie to now watch as an adult. Just to experience it when you're watching it as a kid. Because you're a kid, you're watching this, you're like, oh my god, how awesome would that be? But then when you watch it as an adult, you're like, these are the worst parents in the history of movies. Maybe the worst family. And also, something noticed this time around, like, Kevin is just a terrible little kid, like, from the get.
Very mean.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he just yells at his mom, a little smart ass to her, and he totally gets what he deserves. But this is a Christmas movie. There is that feel-good spirit, and there is that, like, you know, lesson to appreciate what you have. Mm-hmm. One of my favorites growing up. Nate, do you have a history with this movie as well?
Definitely. I love Home Alone. This is in the top 3 must-watch around holiday times. And I think, even though Kevin is a little brat and his family is terrible, I think this movie embodies being a child around Christmas time the most, next to A Christmas Story. You know, it really gives me that being a little kid again, and how cool it would be to have the whole house to yourself kind of thing.
I think that the Christmas theme, like, it's one of these movies that could have been made not at Christmas. It could have taken place at any other time.
Yeah.
But the Christmas spirit, you know, gives the family an excuse to leave town. And it also, you know, it helps teach this lesson to Kevin, because we all don't get along with our families 100% of the time. Yeah, there are clashes amongst everybody.
Yeah.
But this is one of those movies that teaches you, you know, despite the differences you have and, you know, whatever animosities from the past are there, they're your family. You gotta love them. You gotta appreciate them. But this is one of those movies that I think is like a time capsule movie.
Yeah.
Because there's no way you could remake it today.
No way.
Like, just all the advances in social media. Like, you know, the mom would be gone, her phone would go off. Like, hey, everybody's in the car with you except Kevin. You know, his phone's still at home.
Yeah.
And speaking of which, you could have just picked up his phone like, hey, Mom, you left me here.
Or even just, like, go online on Facebook and be like, hey, Mom, what the heck? Like, you left me here kind of thing. So, John Hughes really, I think, has the ability to capture a certain time in someone's life. With Ferris Bueller, he really captures that teenage angst. I mean, a lot of movies are teenage, but like I said before, this really captures being a kid and all the things you would do when you were left alone. And that happens with the time capsule as well. You know, just like watching a VHS movie you're not supposed to while scarfing down a ton of sugar and ice cream and things like that. Or breaking into your brother's room and, you know,
kids these days would go a little more extreme, I think, than just doing that. Those little sins, getting away with that if nobody was around.
And as an adult, I noticed as well, I'm like, what does his parents do for a living? Because these people are loaded. This house is a gorgeous mansion. I didn't even appreciate it as a kid, but, like, this place is epically huge. It's a huge home.
Yeah, you see why Joe Pesci and Daniel Stern's Harry and Marv, they target it.
Yeah.
And they are really, I think, the best part of this movie is Joe Pesci and Daniel Stern, because, like I said, you don't really sympathize with Kevin from the beginning. You know, he's this little snot.
Yeah.
But Harry and Marv, they're always comedic. Yeah, they're the bad guys, they're the burglars and everything, but I think they provide the best moments, especially when they get into all the traps and everything. I mean, Macaulay Culkin certainly is charming in this role.
Very
but
much
I think
so.
the comedy from this movie, which is prevalent, is from Joe Pesci and Daniel Stern.
I agree with that. I mean, especially, once again, as an adult watching it, I still think that Macaulay Culkin is the most likable child actor quite possibly ever. He is...
That's fair.
Because he's a really good actor. Macaulay Culkin embodies, like, in this movie especially, sort of a miniature adult when he's grocery shopping and talking to the woman. You know, he speaks like an adult so well as a kid. I think that he does that awesomely. And, he's one of the better child actors out there.
Yeah, and not to keep hitting on the watching it now as an adult, but there was one thing that bothered me at the end. Like, I've probably seen this movie 20 times.
Yeah.
Never realized it or let it bother me before. But the mom gets home like 5 minutes before everyone else does. Oh, how'd you get here? Oh, we took the flight that you wouldn't wait for. Like, I was ripping my hair out.
She had to ride that van with the band and everything.
Yeah, but that provided like one of the better parts of the movie when John Candy steps in.
Yeah, this movie has so many moments that every scene it's one of those like, yes, it's this scene, or yes, it's this scene.
Yeah.
And even the lead up of, I think my favorite part is the conversation they have in the church when he's watching his daughter in the choir. and they have this conversation. Once again, themes of family, like what should I do about my son? It's this old man taking advice from, you know,
a 8-year-old kid.
Yeah, a little 8-year-old kid. And I like that exchange, and then that music starts. You're like, oh, here comes the epic ending. That awesome battle with the robbers. That every kid, I think, that's their favorite moment is the map sprawled out with all the traps and everything like that.
Oh yeah, that's great. And the score by John Williams in this movie just incredible. I mean, it was, I don't know if it won an Oscar, but I know it's nominated for an Oscar.
Yeah. Who's your favorite though, Marv or Harry?
Marv.
Yeah, Marv, hands down Marv. When he steps on those ornaments on the ground is probably the funniest moment from Marv.
Yeah. What the hell? You dressed like a chicken. Yeah, Daniel Stern is great. Joe Pesci's great too, but yeah, I'll take Daniel Stern over him.
Yeah, definitely.
Buffs. All right, Nate, so you and I, we both love this movie, and there's so much to appreciate about it. But I'll let you score it first on the 1 to 5 on the feel-good scale. Like, how does this movie give you, like, the holiday feel-good spirit?
I mean, I gotta go really high with this one. I think that because he's such a snot-nosed kid, and because they're so mean and everything at the beginning, I'll take it down just a little bit, but I'm going 4.5. At the end of this movie, you just feel great. You see his eyes light up, and when his family's home, and I think it makes you feel awesome with this movie. It's very high on the feel good. What about you?
Yeah, this movie teaches a lot about overcoming your fears and, learning to appreciate what you have and accepting others and, like, the situation, especially in this movie.
Yeah.
Accepting people for what they are and the situations for what they are. But yeah, there are those few things that just, especially now watching it as an adult, just kind of drive me nuts. And, like, it didn't take me out of the movie. It's pretty much impossible to get taken out of this movie.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go high as well. I'm gonna go 4 out of 5.
Yeah, makes you feel great.
Buffs. All right, so that's it for the latest episode of my holiday movie reviews. What did you guys think? What do you guys think of the movie Home Alone in general? Why don't you go ahead and leave your comments down below, and don't forget to show your support by liking, sharing, and subscribing. And I want to thank Nate for joining me for this one, sir. It was a pleasure.
Pleasure as usual.
And join me next week as I bring you the next episode of Dennis's Holiday Movie Reviews when I review Gremlins. We're keeping it in the 80s and we're keeping it crazy.
Yep.
But until then, don't forget,
there's no place like the theater.